Welcome to your station 1999K Radio, where the dead speak. Good evening, night wanderers, YouTube explorers, and radio listeners. Welcome back to 1999K Radio. My name is Sebastian, and tonight I'll be your host. Thank you for being here for a new edition of this midnight program. Today, we have a great show for you guys. Tonight, October 30th, 2023, All Hallows Eve, my hungry hounds. How was your last week? I hope it was pretty good. Mine was kind of fun. I was able to see Pet Sematary Bloodlines. This movie was released on September 23, 2023. It was directed by Lindsay Beer and produced by Lorenzo Di Bonaventura and Mark Baradian. The movie takes place during a part that in the Stephen King's book and the film, Judd Crandall, in the original movie, he's portrayed by the amazing Fred Gein, who also played Herman Munster in the 1964 black and white series The Monsters. He narrates an occasion from his younger years when someone buried a human in the pet cemetery. The movie focuses on this specific flashback, which is briefly addressed in the film, but it's a significant part in the book. I can tell you honestly that if you're like a fan of horror movies, this movie maybe not for you. It's not particularly good or has something new to add to the plot. It's definitely not closely related to the 1989 movie or even the Stephen King's book. They really have like so many little things, and the movie has like a lot of continuity errors, and certain things don't make much sense. Some details are mentioned but not explained, or don't have a clear purpose. It's one of those movies you wouldn't recommend to someone who is actually like a horror fan. Honestly, they have like a lot of things that doesn't make much sense. They bring it out of nowhere. Now, for the other side, if you have one of those friends who is not a horror fan and he asks you for a movie to see, this could be a movie that you could tell them to watch, and they pretty much will enjoy it. You know, I think it's a good movie for someone that is not a horror fan. I think I will give him 2 stabs out of 5, 1 stab out of 5, very likely. Another movie that I have the opportunity to revisit after a few years is The Wicker Man from 1973. It is a British movie, very theatrical. The acting is very theatrical. It's a little bit different from the things that we're used to right now. It might not be something that you will like if you're a huge fan of slasher horror movies like Terrifier, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Halloween, Friday the 13th. It is inspired in the book or the novel called The Ritual by David Pinners. Definitely, if you like Midsommar, it's a movie that you will like. Midsommar took a lot from this film, and I think that if that's the kind of movies that it's a slow pace and a little bit intriguing, it is a movie that you will very much like to see. It was directed by Robin Hartley. It was produced by Peter Snail. The music is for Paul Giovanni. Sir Christopher Lee is in this movie as Lord Summersile, and Edward Woodward is Sergeant Neil Howie. This movie is full of symbolisms, rituals, and very strong pagan influences. So if you're into those kind of things, this is definitely a movie that you were gonna very much like to see. In the movie, we follow Sergeant Neil Howie. He receives an anonymous letter. In the 70s, letters were a thing. They're not so much anymore, just to get bills. But anyway, he gets a letter, and the letter is reporting the disappearance of a girl in a Scottish island. The letter also includes a photograph of the missing girl, her name, and her mother's name. and pretty much we follow the sergeant through the island while he's trying to investigate the disappearance of this girl. The movie makes you feel uneasy. It isolates you a lot. You feel very odd and like away from the people who is living in the island, just as the sergeant is. And me personally, that I'm a very strong fan on religious and occult themes, I definitely love it. For me, it definitely deserves 1 stars out of 5. But I also can understand that a lot of people can think it's a very slow burn movie, so if you're gonna watch it, just keep that in mind. Now, let's move to the birthdays for this week. This week we celebrate on October 23rd, 1959. It came to life, the one and only Sam Raimi, creator of Evil Dead. So, happy birthday. On the 24th of 1957, John Cassier was born. John Cassier is better known as the voice of the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. We are also celebrating that in October 25th, 1978, Halloween was released. What a better day to celebrate Halloween than this month specifically. Now, October 26th, 1990, we saw the light for the first time of Graveyard Shift, a movie based on a Stephen King's novel. A big birthday here, it's 1954, October 27th, Godzilla, the King of the Monsters, the original kaiju, hit theaters in Japan. And we also want to celebrate that in October 28th, but from 1902, Elsa Lanchester was born, and she grew up to become the Bride of Frankenstein. And finally, Sunday, 29th, but in 1928, Ben Chapman was born. Now, Ben Chapman was better known as the creature from the Black Lagoon inland. So apparently they have 2 different actors for the creature from the Black Lagoon. One was a professional scuba diving, and in the case of the creature inland, it was Ben Chapman who portrayed the creature. So happy birthday to these people, to these amazing icons, and specifically also to the movies that were released during these days. Now, I want to get to the main topic of this episode. I want to make a little exercise here. I know you may be kind of busy, but I want to ask you to imagine something. I want you to imagine that you're walking along the shore of a lake at night. You can hear frogs croaking and crickets chirping. The moon softly illuminates the night, and fireflies twinkle intimately in the forest. Suddenly, you hear a baby crying not very far from you. This grabs your attention, and you realize that you're not alone as you thought. You turn around, expecting to see a woman with a baby in her arms. Maybe you even plan a polite smile to indicate that everything is fine. You know what kind of smile, the kind of smile you use with strangers when you nod. But there's nothing there, and the crying continues. You feel puzzled and approach to see what's happening. As the crying intensifies, you feel something grabbing your ankle, and in a blink of an eye, you're dragged into the water. You try to swim and find something to hold on to, but there's nothing, just water. As you sink, you feel spasms in your lungs, craving for air, and you feel a strong bite on your neck. You start losing consciousness, and you never regain it. The next morning, your body is found without eyes, fingernails, or teeth. Priests take care of your body, as the gods have chosen your soul. I'm sorry to say that you fell into the trap of the Ahuizotl. The Ahuizotl is an Aztec mythological creature. Its name is sometimes translated as water dog or the spine of the water. In his book, General History of the Things of New Spain, the Franciscan missionary Fray Bernardino de Sahagún described the Ahuizotl as follows. It's the size of a small dog, with very fine and small ears. Its body is black and very smooth, with a long tail that ends in what it looks like a human head. It has feet and hands like a monkey. This animal lives in the deep springs of the waters. It is said that the Ahuizotl serve the rain deities and the gods choose their victims to carry their souls to paradise. The bodies of the unfortunate could only be touched by priests due to the gods' interest in their souls. With this, we inaugurate our mythological bestiary, the Ahuizotl. And well, that's how we conclude this week's episode. Before I go, I'd like to leave you with a recommendation. I was listening to this song the other day while I was on the bus. It's a song from a very good movie. The song is called After Midnight by the band Fast Away, and it's from the 1986 movie Trick or Treat. Give it a hear and let me know what you think about it. I really like it. And well, as always, you're more than welcome to contact me. I'll leave my Instagram link below. Let's chat a little bit. I want to let you know that I'll be here next Monday with all of you guys. Also, I want to let you know that this show will be also uploaded in Spanish in case you have a friend that you would like to share it with who doesn't speak English. Before I go, I'd like to wish you all a happy Halloween and Day of the Dead. And finally, thank you for tuning into 1999K Radio. Have a cool and relaxed night. And remember, legends remind us to be careful where we walk. Good night.